Hi guys, welcome back. So today we will be discussing the league abilities for Annihilus, the champion coming in April. The champion coming in April in MCOC. So let's start. Got it going ready. Yeah, that's right. It's much quicker now. Not precise right now. So let's first take a look at his signature ability. So he has this signature ability called Tremble Before Me. Oh my lord. While Annihilus is near a wall, he gains a passive block penetration buff, allowing all attacks to ignore a certain percent of opponent's block proficiency. Obliterating strikes ignore a certain percentage of the opponent's block proficiency. While Annihilus' opponent is near a wall, he gains one passive aptitude buff, increasing the potency of Fury Armor Up and Precision buffs by a certain percent. While unstoppable, obliterating strikes have a certain chance to crit on a blocking opponent, so it's like Aegon. While unstoppable, critical damage is increased by a certain percentage. Obliterating strikes generate less power when blocked. This ability is activated while the opponent has a certain amount of more stifle debuffs. Annihilus generates one Fury buff every certain seconds, each increasing attack rating for certain amount for certain seconds. Max 70 buffs. Kind of like Heimdall. While this ability is active, the expiry timers of all Fury buffs on Annihilus are paused. Increase the stack limit of obliterations to a certain percent. Additionally, while the opponent has 10 obliterations, Annihilus is unblockable. So kind of like Omega Red. He deals a debuff to the opponent. So let's check his synergies. So he has this challenger synergy with Hulk Ragnarok. So every time Annihilus opponent activates a Fury effect, Annihilus gains an armor up buff, increasing armor rating by 8% for 4 seconds. Hulk Ragnarok, while Face Me is active, passive, Hulk gains a Fury buff, boosting attack by a certain percentage. Contingency plan. Whenever Hulk Ragnarok strikes Annihilus with a smash attack, Annihilus gains one Fury buff, increasing attack by 100 for 4 seconds. So basically, it's the counter to Hulk Ragnarok. He doesn't. Basically, his synergies are standalone. He has this one with Dark Hulk, double negative. Annihilus is taunted for 0.5 seconds when striking an auto-blocking opponent, while Cosmic Rod is active. While taunted, his attack rating is reduced by 40%. That's weird. He weakens? Dark Hawk, attack rating increased by 9% while in any mode. Okay. Contingency plan. If Annihilus is fighting Dark Hawk's armor rating is decreased by 15% while in any mode. Hardcore with Korg. Annihilus. All heavy attacks are obliterating strikes and apply 2 stacks of obliteration. When fighting against Korg, Annihilus obliterating strikes strip all of Korg's rack stacks. So that's nice. You can strip all the rack stacks to counter to Korg. So he has this one, Queen of Nothing with Medusa. The one with Korg is called Hardcore. So King of Nothing with Medusa. Annihilus. Whenever Annihilus is knocked down, he generates one Fury, increasing attack rating by 10% for 4 seconds. When fighting against Medusa, Annihilus obliterating strike is increased by 100% while she has 3 or more Fury buffs. So a perfect counter to Medusa. When Medusa gains 3 Furies, he increases his obliterating strike. Let's go to his specials. The special 1. At the start of this attack, Annihilus gains armor up buff, increasing armor rating by a certain amount for a certain seconds. Each hit refreshes all stifle debuffs on the opponent. The final hit pauses the duration of all active stifles for 2 seconds. Annihilus generates 1 Fury buff, increasing attack rating by a certain amount for a certain seconds. Each stifle on the opponent increases the potency of Fury by a certain percentage. Any pause stifles on the opponent increases Annihilus offensive power gain. Okay, so he has power gain. Hyperion, Morningstar, kind of like Hyperion, like in Morningstar. Each hit generates a certain Fury buff, increasing attack rating by a certain amount for certain seconds. Each strike that is blocked, dodged by the opponent generates Fury buff, increasing his attack rating by a certain amount for a certain seconds. The final hit removes all obliteration from the opponent. Each obliteration removed this way steals a bar of power from the opponent. Power steal, okay. Refresh and pause the expiry of all active stifles for 2 seconds. Any pause stifles on the opponent increase Annihilus offensive power gain. It's SP2. If the opponent blocked or avoided the final hit of this attack, he gains an additional Fury buff, each increasing his attack rating for a certain amount for a certain seconds. During this special attack, his attack rating is increased by a certain amount by every armor break on the opponent. Okay. When activating this special, Annihilus consumes every stifle on the opponent, each generating 1 Fury, increasing his attack for a certain amount for a certain seconds. Each strike that is blocked, dodged, or evaded by the opponent generates Fury buff, increasing attack rating for a certain amount for a certain seconds. His SP3, the living death that walks. Annihilus inflicts the opponent with a stifle debuff, reducing their offensive power gain for a certain amount for a certain seconds, kind of like Luke Cage. Until the opponent has 0 stifle debuff, Annihilus pauses the expiry of all Fury buffs. While the opponent is stifled, Annihilus obliterating strike chance is increased by a certain amount. Until the opponent has 0 stifles remaining, the duration of a stifle buff is increased by a certain percentage. Inflict stifle, reducing offensive power rate by a certain percentage for 2 seconds. Inflict stifle, reducing offensive power rate for a certain amount for a certain seconds. So you can also reduce power gain. Okay. So he has a certain mechanic. Block penetration. Attacks ignore a portion of opponent's block proficiency. Taunt. While under the effects of a taunt, Annihilus suffers no attack rating reduction. Specials are unblockable and have a true strike. Killmonger. While taunted, gain through accuracy, unblockable and unstoppable. Okay. His heavy attack inflicts an armor break on the opponent, each reducing armor rating by a certain amount for a certain seconds. He has this thing called Stifle. Whenever Annihilus would inflict an armor break, he has a 100 chance to inflict Stifle, reducing offensive power gain by a certain amount for a certain seconds. While Annihilus is near his opponent, Stifle debuff have a certain chance to be replayed after expiring. If the opponent dashes back while stifled, Annihilus removes 1 stifle and gains 1 unstoppable block lasting 2 seconds. Special costs less power for each stifle on the opponent. While the opponent is stifled, Annihilus' first medium attack in combo removes 1 stifle, generates 1 Fury buff, increasing attack. Okay. Each stifle he also increases armor rating. So his Chinitus exoskeleton. So when he has this active, he lowers the opponent's critical damage. When attacked by physical contact, Annihilus has a certain chance to apply obliteration to his opponent. When his opponent dashes back, he removes one obliteration from the opponent and becomes unblockable and stoppable for 2 seconds. Kind of like Korg. If you remove his obliteration, he would increase his power, his prowess in his Cosmic Control Rug. Obliterating strikes are stun immune and remove one armor up buff. When you knock down his opponent, Annihilus removes all obliterations. Each obliteration removed pauses the expiry of Annihilus buffs for a certain second. So this is the obliteration ability. So when he has this ability, critical rating increases for each obliteration on the opponent. Obliterating strikes inflict armor break, reducing armor rating by a certain amount for a certain seconds. Obliterating strikes are not affected by ability accuracy reduction. Obliterating strikes inflict obliteration, reducing the opponent's armor rating by 1% and their offensive power gain by 2 seconds. Those are the buffs he's gonna get when he's in obliteration stage. All attacks have chance to be obliterating strikes. For each buff on Annihilus, chance increase to 1% if Annihilus has class advantage. So basically against Mystic. So that sucks. Okay. So he has a timer on his Cosmic Control Rod. His Cosmic Control Rod. Annihilus gains the Cosmic Control Rod at the start of the fight. The Cosmic Control Rod grants the following abilities. He gains a prowess, boosting special attack damage by a certain percentage for every obliteration on the opponent. He gains passive fury, boosting attack damage by a certain amount. This bonus is released every time Annihilus activates a special attack or the Cosmic Rod is removed. He's immune to Frost Incinerate, Frostbite, and Cold Snap, so counter to Mephisto and Iceman, and any effects that lowers her power locks. Okay, he's the beast. He can't be powered lock or power drain. Other buffs cannot be removed by nullifies, phase steal, or staggers. Okay, he has that buff. That's cool. While the control rod is active, all attacks have a certain chance to be an obliterating strike. Whenever any buff would be removed by nullify, fate steal, or stagger, the effect is purified and whenever any buff would be removed by nullify, fate steal, or stagger, the effect is purified and the cosmic control rod is removed for 2 seconds. Okay, so whenever you nullify his buff, that's what will happen. So it's basically confirm as cosmic. His bio. After the Fantastic Four open a portal to the negative zone in search for anti-particles, they encountered Annihilus, a vicious raving insect, so it's an insect ruling over negative zone, aided by his. So that's the precious thing that he has, the weapon, the cosmic control rod. Tell me in the comment section below what you think about Annihilus. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. God bless.